Good morning, everyone. Hope you're well. Welcome back. Well, I suppose just good day wherever you are. Happy Saturday, or maybe Sunday, depending on where you're at also in the world. Wherever you are, whatever time it is, it doesn't matter. I hope you're doing well. And we're here, baby. We're halfway through the last week of the Battleground season. The pushing, bumping, grinding, rubbing, racing's been going on. But as we take a look at the numbers, has it? Let's get into it. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go through the lower levels and the in-betweeners, and then we're going to get to the big three, and that's how we'll take a look at this. So let's hop on over here out to the Gamma, Arcane, Quantum cutoffs. As we can see, we have our first 3 weeks up here where we wound up. Here was the averages we were working with, first two versus week 3, and where that wound up with our cutoffs. That was all from the last video, but the new information we have is down here. So from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you can see I missed Friday, had some meetings that ran late, kept me from documenting things, but our final week average so far, every one of these 3 has come down. In fact, in the quantum case, quite a bit. You can see that those things have dropped and are slowing down. I do believe that as we go into the Q2 and Q1 as well, you can see we were at 9, 11, 9. That's 3, 1 point legitimately for quantum 2, 4 points for Q1. I believe that these are all suffering from the 200-point push. Right, this was the push. People were trying to get that radiance. Now they got their 200 points. We've gone past that level, and we're just at the point now where people are not really caring. Right, they've hit their point where they're at for the season. They got their radiance, and they're going to be big chilling until a later time. You're getting a little bit of movement still in Gamma Arcane. Right, those are holding closer to their averages. But all in all, this lower end of the measuring scope here is slowing down. And so we've got our extrapolated cutoffs. A reminder, that's just, hey, you've got this many average points per day this week. We're going to multiply that by how many days we've got left, and we're going to add it to what the score was this morning, and boom, we get to a number. So in the case of the Gamma cutoff, you got 80, Arcane 129, Quantum 204, Q2 211, Q1 240. So then what we did is we do my suggested cutoffs. All right? Suggested cutoffs basically say, okay, on day Thursday. On the final 2 days of the season, the points are going to be doubled. And that's how this math works out. For these lower levels, from Gamma through really Q1, I believe these are safe parking numbers right here. I believe if you camp in these spots, you get to 90, 136, 211, 213, 248. 213 may raise a little bit in Q2, but again, I don't think people are really going to be pushing. If those, you get there and you feel like parking, I think you're in a good spot. I think the same's going to go roughly for your Mysterium 2 and Mysterium 1. I think these players will play a little bit more. You can see the averages have held close to where they were. They were in the 9 to 10 range. Now we're in the 8 to a little bit over 9 range. That puts us at 306 and 343. Give ourselves a little runway for that extra day push. You're at 322, 362. If you're happy camping in those spots, I think you're in a great spot. Now, I do also, before we move on to the big 3, want to take a look over here at our C4, C3, C2, C1. You can see that there's not been a ton of movement in C1 through 3 since earlier this week. And we have seen C4 pick up a little bit on the lower end. That's going to be natural. You can see they were averaging only 12 points, and now they've picked back up to 20. Presuming they maintain their averages and they double it up at the last day, I would be shocked if 710 doesn't hold in C4. We'll take a look at that again closer on Monday. Again, this is where the Brawl qualifiers are, ladies and gentlemen. This is the fun stuff to watch. These are the best of the best going at it. Unfortunate reality, especially in a meta like this that's so punishing and challenging, is you're not going to see a ton of streaming. You're going to see a lot of people doing friendlies. You're going to see a lot of scores and stuff. But most of the heavy hitters, unfortunately, just aren't going to stream. They're close to the season. Disappointing, but it is what it is. It's understandable. It's very hard to stream and concentrate and be able to execute at a high level. And this meta requires you to do that. All right, next meta, I think you'll be a little more open. But for right now, this is where we're at. Let's stay tuned. But now, let's go to the big 3. Let's go to the big 3. All right, our big 3 cutoffs. These are the ones where we got 50K radiance riding on it. These are the ones that people really care about, right? I had someone hit me up this morning. Hey, I'm at 270. How am I looking for Mysterium 3? Hey, I'm at 519. How am I looking for C6, etc., etc., etc. And so that's this math. Okay. We have, for comparison, last season where we wound up and what the final 48 hours were, the previous two. And so we're using that math to get ourselves into what we call a safe place. This number right here, this season 30 updated, is kind of where I'm at with if you want a safe place to park and hold and wait and see where we wind up, I believe that these are a safe place to park. Now you can see, like I mentioned, since we mathed this out on Wednesday, all of these numbers have come down. Okay, basically across the board, with the exception of C4, averages are down for the last 3 days. Not surprised. Punishing meta, people are looking to park. It's not feeling great. So it's not a surprise. So we mathed this out, and really this number is just the average. Let's say I multiply my average out, right? If I multiply Mysterium out, I was looking at about 271. Slap my 50 points on it, 321. The 271 included some points over the last 2 days. So if we account for the fact that we included points for the last 2 days, stacked more points on the final 48, and then added all that together, I consider these to be very safe places to park, especially in the Mysterium and C6. So I think that if you get to 320, if I were you, I would just sit and wait to see where the things climb over the next few days. Realistically, these are meant to be conservative. These are meant to be safe for you. Okay? I would probably, if it were me and just trying to hold Mysterium, sit at about 300 and wait and see how things went the last couple days. Same goes for C6. I think realistically, none of it's been 60. We added 60 to it. We already accounted for some points in the average. So this is potentially as high as, 80 points higher than where it will actually wind up. But we're talking about safety, and that's not real. There's going to be a push the last couple days. There always is. If you're getting into 450 for C6, I think you're in a good spot. I think it could very well be quite a bit lower than that. And C5, for all you sweats out there, this one's going to be an interesting one. I think this is still pushing for pretty accurate, pretty average. Again, you're pacing for about 461. That accounts for some extra points over the last 2 days. We tack a 50 on it, which again is more than what we've seen the final 48. Your 321 for Mysterium, your 455 for C6, and your 511 for C5, I believe are pretty safe places to get to and park. The reality is Kabam's given us a lot of extra Summoners Fest points, so the need to grind for tokens is a lot less, unless you're really pushing for some subset of ranked rewards, which, to remind you, there are Summoners Fest points for sale in unit packs, so it's going to go beyond just, oh, I've gotten everything free to play. Sure, you can maximize your points, and you should if that's what you're striving to do. But you're probably not going to come in your top ranks because there are going to be people who buy units for the Summoners Fest points and outrank you. That's just the reality of the game today, right? So, let me know where you're at. I hope your season ends strong. I'm looking to hit Mysterium this season, so M3 is good for me. I'm already above that mark. I may wind up dipping because I'm going to get my tokens, and we'll be back probably on Tuesday for friendlies in our final token run. Have a good time closing the season out. But next season, the Celestial push is real. We're getting after it. I hope your push is going well. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. The car's on jacks out there. The barbecue's going. I got stuff to do. I'm going to go get to it. And until next time, peace.